Welcome back to Real Talk, the show where we look at issues facing our youth. My name is Omekongo, and I'm speaking with peace activist HawaH. You were talking about the depression and sadness with our young people. Mm-hmm. That's an epidemic across this country.
Yeah.
And it's manifested, unfortunately, in these school shootings that we're seeing. Mm-hmm. Whether it's Columbine to shootings that we've seen recently in Newtown, Connecticut. Mm-hmm. As somebody who's dealt with so many youth and educators, how do you process all of this? What are you doing? How are you making sense of this?
Right. Well, I think what the underlying sort of one of the keys and the connections to all the sadness and depression is there's a lack of feeling purpose and value. I think that it's so easy to get lost in the shuffle and to become a number. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know, our schools are really good at turning us into letters.
Wow.
Turning us into percentage points. Mm-hmm. You know, mm-hmm. And what we've done is we've taken an individual being, a beautiful, creative, talented human being, and we've said, you're a D.
Wow.
You're a C minus. Mm-hmm. Oh, you're an A plus. Mm-hmm. You know, and instead of knowing who we are and understanding why we're even here on earth.
Right.
You know, what's my purpose? What am I here to give, and what am I here to receive? Mm-hmm. You know, instead we become like these machines.
Yeah.
And we're trying to crank out and, you know, do our best to simply keep up. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yes,
this has become a driving force to the anger, to the depression, to the sadness. Mm-hmm. And they've done a lot, you know, after Connecticut. The conversation has been rich. It's been a rich dialogue, mm-hmm. I'm not going to lie. I was in India when Connecticut happened. I wish I was here because I couldn't even enter the dialogue because I was in India. And I had a hard time really being able to add some of my thoughts to it. But one thing I've noticed that was really missing and absent in the dialogue was there was no real concrete talk about what can we do to change and to add to the curriculum in our schools. Mm-hmm. You know, like you graduate from high school and you're required to know certain things about English, about social studies. You have to know how many muscles are in the hind leg of a frog.
Yeah, right.
You got to know all these like important things, mm-hmm. but you don't have to know how to live in community. It's not required that you learn how to communicate nonviolently, mm-hmm. that you learn how to have a healthy relationship. Mm-hmm. You know, and what I challenge us to ask each other is, what good is all the science and math and English in the world going to do if there's no world left to enjoy it in?
Right.
If there's no Earth, if there's no human species left, what are all these scientific advancements going to provide us? And I think what needs to happen now is there needs to be a real dialogue about what we can do to bring into our schools mm-hmm. standard required curriculum that deals with the social emotional being.
And that's what you've created with your organization,
yeah.
right? Like One Common Unity. Mm-hmm. This isn't just pie in the sky talk for you. This mm-hmm. is what you've actually been doing.
Yeah.
So what has been some of the responses? And I know you've done this work internationally as well as in the United States. You've worked with the Children's Defense Fund and training teachers. Yeah. What has been some of the responses when you've actually brought this work, this curriculum that you've designed, into schools?
Yeah, deep transformation. Deep transformation, and you will see results within a few weeks when you start to really cultivate the heart, and you start to allow people to once again feel emotions and
allow them to feel.
Yeah, allow them to feel again, right? Because we've become desensitized mm-hmm. to all of it, and there's no processing of the culture that we're being brought up in, and so what we've done is we've created this situation that requires more than ever now life skills mm-hmm. to be taught. What we call it is alternatives to violence. Mm-hmm. And we've been doing this, I've been doing this for over 12 years.
Yes.
One Common Unity, we started One Common Unity in the year 2000. Mm-hmm. And we've been providing this curriculum to schools all around the Washington, D.C. area, mm-hmm. you know, through workshops, through assemblies, through Peace Weeks and Erase the Hate Weeks.
Yeah.
But that's never been enough. So we've been also trying to do what we can to add this curriculum to schools, but there's no mandate. There's no local or national mandate from policy that's saying, yeah, this is really important. You know, kids in 3rd and 4th and 5th grade need to know what it means to live in community. They need to have classes on conflict resolution. Mm-hmm. They need to have classes around anger management. They need to have classes that deal with relationships and health and my own emotions, right? So this is a whole curriculum that needs to be a part of the conversation and actually a part of our schools. To graduate, just like you need to take science to graduate.
Wow.
Just like you need to take English to graduate. You need to take classes that teach you how to live in harmony.
That's
in your community, and how to be a leader. And this is important work. And so we've done a lot to train teachers and give teachers the skills to bring this to their work and with their youth. But it needs to be more. It can't just be this little piecemeal work. What we've been doing. We're grassroots. So I feel like it's really time to take this to the next level.
But what's it really going to take to get us to that next level? I mean, we can already see this conversation about gun control, gun regulation, or whatever we call it, it's already starting to die down. So what's it really going to take for that mandate to come? I mean, is heaven forbid, a preschool going to have to be next? I mean, what's it really going to take for this country to get serious action towards that?
So there's two things at work here. One is you've got the shock value of Connecticut, and two is you've got the intellectuals that shock value doesn't affect, but you need the research. You need the research to support, this work is valuable and it has results. There's so many initiatives around the country similar to ours that have been working on bringing peace education to schools. In New York City, you've got Linda Lantieri. You've got, you got nonviolent communication teachers all around the country that are not only doing the work, but they're doing research and showing, wow, these young people's lives have been transformed. When you see our film come out, it's called Fly By Light. It's going to come out in the next 3 months. And it's following these young people as they travel through our one-year program. And they have this chance to do a lot of deep rites of passage work. We take them into the mountains for 8 days. We're looking at grief. We're looking at trauma. We're letting out the demons, our fears. We're talking about the fears that we have about life. And we're trying to ground ourselves into what do we really want out of life? Again, I'm going to go back to the beginning. Is it a new car? Is that new car going to bring you happiness, or is there something else that you want out of life? Is it family? Is it friends that you can trust? And this is the real thing, because you can find young people here, that are very wealthy, that are sad and depressed and, unhappy. And you can go to Africa, you can go to India, and you've seen it. I mean, kids without shoes. Kids that might be lucky if they have one meal a day.
And they give you the shirt off their back.
And they give you the shirt off their back, and they are smiling bigger, and they're more happy than some of the young people you'll see here. In the most wealthy nation on the planet. So it's, it comes back to this idea of finding value and purpose in your life. And we have to do that for every young person. And it's more than an SAT score. It's more than getting into college. It's more than a college degree. We don't have to just shuffle every young person into college. Not everybody needs to go to college. There's other ways to give and to be productive in this world.
How do you feel, given that adults are the ones in front of these young people every day? If we as adults haven't been able to find this type of peace that you're talking about, what can we do to start that process? Because if like you said, if you're no good to yourself, you can't be any good to anybody else. So we may have educators or employers or other types of people who are working with people who haven't found that inner peace. So how can adults start to do that when they're already caught up in the daily grind?
And they're caught in the daily grind, and
test scores and everything,
and they're stressed out. You know what I mean? And the littlest thing will unnerve them and make them angry, and next thing you know, they're yelling at the fifth grader in their classroom. And then we're blaming the fifth grader for bullying.
But, and suspending him.
And suspending the fifth grader. But our teachers don't have the skills nor the time to develop themselves. And this is important. There has to be space within the teacher development, right? There has to be periods where teachers are given these sabbatical periods to continue to find ways to balance and to center themselves.
That's a great point. And
You know?
when you're doing your documentary with Fly by Light as well, when you're dealing with these students, do they speak at all, or even in other experiences that you've had in your school trainings, do they speak at all about the climate created by the adults that help further this problem in terms of the anger that's seen in the schools?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah, yeah. You can hear it all the time. I mean, working with young people, you'll have, especially when you create safe spaces for sharing. And this is part of the work. I mean, part of the work is just creating really safe spaces where young people feel like they can express themselves. That's why, like, even just having like open mic poetry and like having, you know, art showcases are really empowering. Arts empowerment. It's like when you hear them speak, they definitely express how their teachers have caused them trauma.
Wow.
You know, teachers have caused them trauma and caused them, you know, so much pain, made them feel stupid.
Wow.
You know,
At school.
At school,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
like I can't. You know, when I first got into this work in 1998, I was an AmeriCorps member. I was living in Berry Farms, Southeast DC.
Yeah.
And I remember I was working with 3rd and 4th graders. I was a big brother community organizer to 3rd and 4th graders. And I remember these 3rd and 4th graders, many of the ones that I was mentoring, you know, turning 9, 10 years old, and they'd already been made to believe that they were dumb. You know?
Yeah.
And partly because of teachers in their lives that didn't have the skills and didn't have the language to know how to positively reinforce them.
Right.
It's always negative reinforcement. It's always fear that we use to try to control and discipline. You know, and it's a real art form to learn how to encourage somebody through desire and not fear. And these 3rd and 4th graders, you know, through consistent failures of these standardized tests, you know, had already been made to feel that there were failures in life.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you're 10 years old and you feel like you're a failure in life, what's left?
That's right. That's
What's
right.
left?
Where can people go if they want to learn more about what you're doing and the projects that you have going on?
You can go to onecommonunity.org.
Okay.
That's the nonprofit organization's website. And we've been providing peace education, social emotional programs in the DMV area for over 12 years.
Okay.
You can also visit me as an artist and an author. You can find me at everlutionary.net.
Okay.
Everlutionary.
First of all, we have to have you back. For
let's do it, let's do it.
You know, there's this, especially when when the documentary drops, and I really hope that people go and visit the sites and people get connected with you, schools and everybody, because you're just doing great work, and I really wish you the best.
Thank you. And also, you can see the trailer to the Fly by Light film on YouTube.